Hi, I'm James. I'm one of the Skipper team. I have been thinking about gardening because this is my workspace at the moment. This is where I plan my chemistry lessons and I record them and put them on the internet. And if you look that way, you'll see that I have a view onto the garden. Now, gardening is used in the New Testament quite a lot to as a kind of metaphor for spiritual growth, and that's what I've been thinking about. So I look out into the garden and I look at the things that I've got round to recently because I've had time, like cutting the hedge for the first time in a year and a half, which resulted in quite a lot of green bin stuff. So I think it's a good time. This lockdown time is quite a good time to look at my spiritual garden as well, and just think about, well, what's growing in that. In Luke 13, 6-9, Jesus gives a parable where the owner of the vineyard is saying, this plant isn't bearing any fruit, we should cut it up and destroy it. And the gardener says, no, we're going to dig around it, we're going to put manure in it, we're going to water it, we're going to give it everything it needs to flourish, and we'll come back and check on it later. And, I think it's always difficult to look at your own garden and say, what could we change here? Because you're used to looking at the same thing. You see it and you go, yep, that's my garden, that's what it looks like. But questioning, is that actually the best way for this to run, is a very valuable exercise. So, for example, if we stick with the analogy, if we've got a garden full of flowers, that's great, but what if we wound all the flowers up and grew vegetables instead? Would that not be more productive? Would that not be more beneficial to us? And yeah, I'm not saying that flowers are bad. What I'm saying is that if we look at our spiritual life and we say, okay, well, I've got a lot of things which look good and things which I do, which I can say, yeah, I do this, yeah, I do that, yeah, I do that. For example, for me, yeah, I organise a worship rota, I do this, I organise some of the tech for church. It's always good to ask, well, how useful is that? Is that really what God wants me to be doing at this point? Is that something that I need to reevaluate? Is there something more useful that I could be doing? Am I really going out and making disciples of all nations by doing the things that I'm doing? And I think that's a challenge for all of us to just sit down and think about our spiritual garden and what we're growing in it, and what we can do about that now we've got a little bit more time perhaps on our hands to do some gardening.